Wendy's is letting you win real food with your fantasy team this year with the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. For those of you who dream of smoking the competition, Wendy's is rewarding you with weekly prizes that will have you winning. But here's the big secret to lineups. It's all serendipitous, like Wendy's new limited edition chicken strips and French toast sticks. Sometimes the best teammates are the ones you least suspect. Sign up to play Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool to win weekly prizes like new chicken strips and French toast sticks from Wendy's and the Wendy's app. I had some Wendy's on the weekend. I was out. Shout out Abbotsford Nissan, my fellas out there. Hooked me up. I got a new car.
Oh, nice.
Really
that Nation Network money hits different.
I'm really stoked about it. You know all my troubles with my past car, which we're not going to delve into on the show. But yeah, shout out Abbotsford Nissan. They hooked me up. I got some Wendy's while I was out there in Abbotsford. It started snowing while I was at the dealership. And I was like, in my head, I was thinking, better buy an SUV or I'm not getting home today. So anyways, yeah, shout out the great folks over at Abbotsford Nissan, and of course Wendy's as well.
That's when you got to negotiate for the winter tires.
That's right. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, Wendy's, yeah, the Daily Face-Off Survivor game. I've made my pick. It's a Monday, which means I'm still in the game for now because it's the first day.
Pick?
I picked the Dallas Stars to win against the Detroit Red Wings tonight.
Okay, you hear that, guys? Bet on the Detroit Red Wings to beat the Dallas Stars.
Oh, come on. I think I'll be good today. Hopefully Wednesday, we'll chat with Frank Cervalli and see how he's doing as well. But yes, I went with the Dallas Stars to beat the Detroit Red Wings tonight. Okay, life without Ethan Bear. We need to become prepared for it because on Saturday night, Sportsnet Elliotte Friedman reported on Hockey Night in Canada that there's a bidding war going on for Ethan Bear. We heard this from guys like Dhaliwal and throughout the market as well. We've been hearing this lately that the Canucks are no longer the front runner to go get Ethan Bear, but that teams have emerged with higher bids than the Canucks. We heard the Toronto Maple Leafs potentially, but it seems like the Washington Capitals are the team that is accelerating to the front of the pack when it comes to the Ethan Bear sweepstakes, if you want to call it that. The Canucks clearly aren't interested in getting into a bidding war for, a bottom four defenseman. So they are not going to be getting in on Ethan Bear. Rick Dhaliwal reporting today that the Canucks are out on the Ethan Bear sweepstakes.
Yeah, I mean, this would have, of course, felt like a much bigger blow if the Canucks hadn't pulled off that trade for Nikita Zadorov. So two things here. One, how much we discuss life without Ethan Bear and whether it matters or not is going to, in my opinion, come down to when Susie returns and you have four lefties, can one of the lefties successfully play the right side? And you have options in terms of defensemen that have played the right side before, Ian Cole, Susie a little bit, Zadorov, but it's an open sort of question as to, can you successfully make that transition mid-season? Is the coaching staff comfortable with it? How does that affect the D pairs? Because if, let's say, Ian Cole can shift over to the right side and he looks the exact same as he does right now, then it's not going to feel as big of a blow, because once Susie's back, you have a blue line that you're not desperately needing an Ethan Bear like presence. I mean, you would have, six defensemen that could conceivably be in the lineup ahead of him if you want to include Tyler Myers, which some people may want to, some people may not want to. And the other thing, this is the big wild card with Bear, is how much does the severity of his injury that he's recovering from and missing such a significant chunk of games, the effect that has on your conditioning, impact what he actually is as a player? Because yes, we know Bear's a net positive. He's probably a true talent third pair defenseman who can elevate up the lineup in a supporting role if need be. But that's when he's healthy. That's when he's playing his best. What does he look like when he's initially returning, right? And that's where nobody really knows the answer to that until he actually suits up for NHL games.
So the idea that the Canucks picked Nikita Zadorov over Ethan Bear, are you comfortable with that statement? And do you support the Canucks' decision to do that if that's how you feel?
Well, what ultimately just comes down to what style of defenseman do you prefer more, right? Because they're pretty different players. Bear doesn't have much size. You worry a little bit about his down low defensive play, breaking up the cycle. Can he do that? Can he be responsible defending the front of his net? Whereas Zadorov, he's big, he's mean, he can break up those plays in front of the net. He's got such a long reach. He adds physicality. But the asset that Bear has, in addition to being a right shot, which makes it a better fit from that sense, is that he can move the puck really well. Zadorov has shades of that when he's moving his feet well, when he is making poised decisions like he did against Carolina. But that's not always his game on a night in, night out basis. He can be a little bit more erratic with that. So from that sense, you also have to sort of weigh that, okay, Zadorov cost you a 3rd and 5th round pick, which is a fair price to pay, but Bear probably wouldn't have cost you anything. Zadorov, on the other hand, is probably at this point the safer bet in terms of who's going to provide more value for you down the stretch once you consider Bear's injury situation and a more of a playoff style defenseman, considering the Canucks are going to make the postseason, assuming nothing goes dramatically off the rails here. So I honestly don't have a problem really with them sort of ending up with Zadorov instead of Bear.
Okay, Dhaliwal reported a few things this morning when he spoke about it, and one of the things he said was that the Canucks were close to a 3-year deal with Ethan Bear before he went unqualified, or they didn't give him a qualifying offer, I should say, this past offseason. Now it looks like on a 1-year, Bear's expected to get $1.5 million on a prorated 2-year deal. On a 2-year deal, he's expected to get over $2 million a year. Canucks probably shouldn't match that offer if that's what it sounds like he's getting from Washington, correct?
Yeah, I hadn't seen that report about if it's a 2-year deal, it's probably going to be in that $2 million range. It's a lot to pay for a player that, again, has that uncertainty around what's he going to look once he comes back. And ultimately, again, even when he's at his best, Bear on a good team is a 3rd pair defenseman. Again, he can maybe play up the lineup to be with Quinn Hughes just if you want to balance your D pairs a little bit. But I'm usually not of the mindset that you want to overpay for players towards the bottom end of your roster, especially when you're already paying somebody like a Carson Soucy, who's a number 5 defenseman, 3.25 beyond the season, as a player who maybe might be a 2nd pair defenseman, but has really, in terms of what he's proven himself to be at this point, really closer to being a dominant 3rd pair defenseman. You're already investing a lot in that sort of bottom 4 type of defenseman. So yeah, considering that potential price, it's understandable to be out on Bear.